call Alzheimer's Research UK on 0800 035 5984 or text BRAIN2 to 78866. Think of it as another way of planning for your best years, because your brain really matters.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements, new appliances, a car, or for some of life's big moments. So even if you've had problems with credit before, Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes. Evlo, your future in your hands.
This is NDTV, and you're watching.
Hello and welcome to this Tuesday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun, Samar, Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. There's a major development in the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks case. The US Supreme Court has rejected Tahawwur Rana's final plea against extradition to India. Now, Rana, a Canadian of Pakistani origin, was convicted in the US in 2011 for supporting Lashkar-e-Taiba, the terrorist outfit behind the dastardly Mumbai attacks that killed 166 people and left thousands others injured in 2008. Rana was linked to David Coleman Headley, one of the key conspirators who in fact surveyed Mumbai sites ahead of the strikes. Rana had filed an emergency appeal with the US Supreme Court, but it was denied. He is currently lodged in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles. Earlier this year, President Trump publicly approved the move during a press conference with PM Modi, calling Rana a very evil person. With this decision, viewers, India is one step closer to bringing another 26/11 accused to justice.
As Tahawwur Rana, who is one of the accused of 26/11, his application for extradition to India, a stay on extradition to India, has been denied by the US Supreme Court. Where I'm standing right now is Taj, who has witnessed the 26/11 attack, because three major hotels in Mumbai, one Jewish company and also one hotel, have been witnessed the attack of 26/11. And now Tahawwur Rana, who is the mastermind of this attack, has the US Supreme Court has given a stay on his extradition to moving to India. This is a big win for India and a relief for the victims of 26/11, as Tahawwur Rana, who had supplied the materials to the Pakistani Lashkar-e-Taiba, who has been accused for this attack, that Pakistan has denied that they have made this attack. But yes, Tahawwur Rana has been in custody, is in Metropolitan, if you go to see, for 14 years, and now his stay has been denied for extradition in India by the US Supreme Court itself. In February in White House, when there was a press conference taken by Donald Trump and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, it was stated by Donald Trump that he is very happy that his administration has is given permission for extradition of a terrorist to being handed over to Indian judicial. And yes, he is very happy on this sentence. The date has not been decided. The date will be decided that when Tahawwur Rana will be handed over to Indian custody, and also the people and Indian judicial is waiting for Tahawwur Rana's custody, because they need to give justice to the Indians, for the victims who have faced this attack. And yes, also the people in India are waiting that when when justice will be given to them and for the victims who have faced this attack. Taj Hotel, Oberoi Hotel and also the Leopold Cafe have been victims of this attacks, and almost 166 people have been died in this overall attack. So yes, justice will be given to them once Tahawwur Rana is handed over to Indian custody, Indian judicial, and when the Indian judicial will punish him for the act that he has done in 26/11/2008.
Just days after PM Narendra Modi's meeting with Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus in Bangkok, Dhaka has in fact sent its High Commissioner to India. Riaz Hamidullah, a senior diplomat from the 1995 batch of Bangladeshi Foreign Service, officially took charge at Bangladesh High Commission in New Delhi on Monday. Now, his appointment had been pending since February amid strained bilateral ties between Dhaka and New Delhi. Hamidullah's arrival now signals a potential thaw following the Modi-Yunus dialogue at the BIMSTEC summit. Now, the High Commissioner's post had remained vacant since October 2024, in fact, when Mustafizur Rahman's term ended. Hamidullah brings deep diplomatic experience, having previously served as ambassador to Sri Lanka and the Netherlands, and also holding key roles within Bangladesh's foreign ministry. Indian entrepreneur Shruti Chaturvedi has alleged that she was detained for 8 hours at Anchorage Airport in Alaska by US police and the FBI, all because of a power bank security deemed suspicious. In a detailed post on social media platform X, Chaturvedi claimed a male officer physically searched her on camera. She was forced to remove warm clothes in a chilled room, denied access to a restroom, and not allowed to make a single phone call. The ordeal caused her to miss her flight. Now, Chaturvedi, who runs a public relations firm, tagged India's EAM, Dr. S. Jaishankar, suggesting racial profiling could have been a factor. Now, she'd been in Alaska for a vacation and had shared pictures of the Northern Lights just days before the incident. US President Donald Trump has said he's not considering a pause on tariffs, even as US prepares to enter fresh trade talks with countries like China and Japan. Now, speaking at the White House alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump emphasized, rather underlined, that ongoing negotiations would focus on what he called fair deals, and in certain cases, that would mean countries paying substantial tariffs as well. Now, this comes just days after sweeping tariff hikes rattled global markets and led to major sell-offs on Wall Street. Listen in.
Markets today, and would you be open to a pause in tariffs to allow for negotiations?
Well, we're not looking at that. We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals with us, and they're going to be fair deals, and in certain cases they're going to be paying substantial tariffs. There'll be fair deals.
And oil prices have plunged to their lowest since the pandemic as Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs ripple across global markets. Russia, already facing budgetary pressure, has sounded the alarm as it Urals oil trade nears $50 a barrel. Meanwhile, Trump has dismissed recession concerns, claiming the US economy is stable, and has in fact accused China and former American leaders of taking advantage of the country. Over $5 trillion have also been wiped out from global markets in just 72 hours, with investors fearing deeper losses ahead. The Crown Prince of Dubai, Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed Al Maktoum, begins his first official visit to India today. Over two days, the UAE Deputy PM and Defence Minister will meet PM Modi, who will host a working lunch in his honour. He's also scheduled to hold talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Meanwhile, in Mumbai, the Crown Prince will lead a business roundtable with Indian and Emirati leaders. Now, the visit comes to strengthen the India-UAE comprehensive strategic partnership, deepen trade ties, and further connect the 4.3 million strong Indian diaspora in the UAE. In fact, it's important to underline here that the UAE also hosts India's largest overseas community, which is around 4.3 million strong. My colleague Shabana Sheikh joins us for the latest from Mumbai. Shabana, what's the latest you're picking up? And please walk our viewers through the itinerary of the UAE's Deputy PM.
So this is a very important meeting from expanding trade, energy collaboration and enhancing digital partnerships and cultural exchanges. The agenda is packed with opportunity. Now, leaders of both countries will actually explore new pathways for investment, especially under the framework of, like you rightly said, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Now, the Crown Prince is actually expected to meet policy leaders and policy makers and business leaders, and the four key agendas would be expansion of bilateral trade volume, which has already surpassed $85 billion in FY24. The second would be UAE's investment in Indian infrastructure projects, and particularly in renewable energy, ports, logistics and smart cities. The third would be startup ecosystems, where these partnerships between Indian innovators and Dubai-based investors will be discussed. And the fourth would be technology and innovation collaboration. So this is largely what is expected out of these meetings in Mumbai.
Thank you so much for that, Subhana. Moving on, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has arrived in London to begin a 6-day official tour of Europe. The highlight of the visit is the 13th India-UK Economic and Financial Dialogue with Chancellor Rachel Reeves, focusing on trade, UPI, interlinkage, investment and even financial regulation. Now, bilateral talks in the India-UK Free Trade Agreement are expected on the sidelines. She will then travel to Austria for meetings with top Austrian officials and business leaders. Meanwhile, President Draupadi Murmu has arrived in Lisbon for a 4-day state visit to Portugal and Slovakia, the first such visit, in fact, by an Indian president to Portugal in 27 years. She was received with full honours, in fact, by President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa at the historic Praça do Império. During a meeting with the Portuguese president, President Murmu led delegation-level talks focused on expanding cooperation in trade, technology, education and renewable energy. Now, the visit comes to deepen historic ties between the two nations. Next, President Murmu will travel to Slovakia, marking the first visit, in fact, by an Indian head of state in the country in nearly 3 decades as well. South Korea will hold a snap presidential election on the 3rd of June after the dramatic ouster of former President Yoon Suk-yeol. Now, Yoon was removed by the Constitutional Court for declaring martial law and deploying troops in December, an act deemed unconstitutional. The country has since been led by Prime Minister Han Sak-soo in an acting role. Meanwhile, Liberal opposition leader Lee Jae-myung, who narrowly lost in 2022, is the current frontrunner despite facing ongoing legal battles. On the other hand, Conservatives are yet to rally behind a single candidate, and the vote comes amid economic concerns and a tense relationship with the Trump 2.0 administration in Washington, D.C. A fresh wave of tension is rocking global markets after US President Donald Trump threatened to slap a 50% tariff, in fact, on Chinese goods. Now, this comes in response to Beijing's new 34% counter tariff, which followed Trump's earlier 34% duty on imports from China. Now, if enforced, the new US tariffs would mean companies pay a staggering 104% in total taxes on Chinese products. Speaking at the White House, Trump said there would be no pause in these actions and stressed it's now America first. China, in a strong rebuttal, accused Washington of economic bullying and unilateralism. Staying with Trump, the US president defended the larger-than-expected tariffs on all imports to reporters in the Oval Office at the top of a bilateral meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who made his second trip, in fact, to the White House since Trump was inaugurated this January. Listen in.
We will eliminate the trade deficit with the United States. We intend to do it very quickly. We think it's the right thing to do. And we're going to also eliminate trade barriers, a variety of trade barriers that have been put up unnecessarily And I think Israel can serve as a model for many countries who ought to do the same. I recognize the position of the United States. It says, you know, we're allowing other countries to put tariffs on us, but we don't put tariffs on them. And, you know, I'm a free trade champion, and free trade has to be fair trade.
And President Donald Trump has revealed that the US and Iran are now in fact in direct contact over a possible nuclear deal. Speaking alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu again, Trump said that the talks will happen Saturday and has warned that failure to reach an agreement would mean a very bad day for Iran. Now, this marks a significant shift as the two nations haven't had formal diplomatic ties since 1980. It's almost 45 years there. But Iran almost immediately contradicted the president, insisting the talks due to take place in Oman on Saturday would be conducted through an intermediary, in fact. Tensions remain high as Iran's enriched uranium stockpile continues to grow, sparking concerns globally. Now, Netanyahu, meanwhile, has said that both US and Israel agree Iran must never acquire nuclear weapons, and that diplomacy, if done right, would be, in fact, a welcome solution. Listen in.
We're having direct talks with Iran, and they've started. It'll go on Saturday. We have a very big meeting, and we'll see what can happen. And I think everybody agrees that doing a deal would be preferable to doing the obvious. And the obvious is not something that I want to be involved with, or frankly, that Israel wants to be involved with if they can avoid it. So we're going to see if we can avoid it. But it's getting to be very dangerous territory. And hopefully those talks will be successful. And I think it would be in Iran's best interest if they are successful.
With that, it's time we slip into a short break. See you on the other side.
This poor creature is a lion, trapped in a cold, bare cage, alone. Terribly malnourished, just skin and bone. How can anyone simply leave a lion to rot and die? Right now, there are thousands of big cats suffering the same torment, languishing in cruel cages, neglected, abandoned, left to die. Will you help Four Paws free big cats suffering around the world right now? Please call 0800 035 7798, text RESCUE to 70544, or go online and give just £3 a month. Help Four Paws cut the bars and rescue these cats from their prisons. Help us take them to our sanctuaries where they can begin to recover. You'll be setting big cats free from pain and protecting them from cruelty, letting them see the blue sky above and breathe the clean, fresh air of freedom for the first time. But they are the lucky ones. Please call 0800 035 7798, text RESCUE to 70544 to give £3 a month via your mobile phone. Because if no one cuts the bars and frees these big cats, they will die trapped and alone.
Protect what matters to you with Simply Safe Home Security. Get our Which Best Buy rated starter pack from under £200. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Visit bingoaliens.com/bingo for a cosmic range of bingo games, taking bingo to another dimension at bingoaliens.com/bingo.
You could save money on your energy, broadband and mobile bills and feel more protected when you switch to a better deal. Switch and save now at uswitch.com.
We know travel can be confusing. That's why I use travelup.com. Compare and book over 100 airlines and thousands of hotels. And while you're away, TravelUp has you covered. Get flight updates on delays and cancellations in a way that suits you. TravelUp provides this for over 100 airlines, so there's no need to have multiple travel apps on your phone. Book now on travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. TravelUp. Flights, hotels, holidays.
With Post Office Over 50's life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, you're guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Call Post Office on 0800 171 2211.
Welcome back. You're watching the World Report with me, Arjun, Samar, Mahendran. Business news now. And Indian stock markets, in fact, opened strong Tuesday, bouncing back from their first single-day fall in 10 months. The Nifty 50 index jumped 1.85%, and the Sensex, in fact, rose 1.64% as trade optimism lifted sentiment across Asia. Now, the rebound follows signs that the US may very well be open to negotiating its tough tariff stance, calming investor fears and a global recession fear. All 13 major Indian sectors traded higher, in fact, in early action, with small and medium-sized cap stocks rising well over 2%. On Monday, both indices had slumped more than 3%, dragged down by global trade tensions. Crypto stocks took a beating on Monday as Bitcoin hit its lowest level in 2025, falling over 5%. The sell-off follows rising investor anxiety over a possible global trade war triggered by US President Donald Trump's sweeping reciprocal tariffs. Now, the downturn raises big questions about Bitcoin's safe haven status as it moves in tandem with other risk assets. Billionaire investor Bill Ackman has warned of an economic nuclear winter if tensions escalate further. US Senator Mark Warner has said that President Donald Trump's extension of TikTok's divestment deadline may violate US law. ByteDance was ordered to sell its US operations by January under a 2024 law, but Trump extended the deadline by 75 days. Now, Warner has said that the proposed deal still gives ByteDance influence over the app's technology and development, failing to in fact meet legal standards by national security. The White House hasn't responded, but a deal is reportedly in the works to spin off TikTok's US unit into a company owned by American investors. The tech giant Samsung has reported a surprising first quarter profit of 6.6 trillion won, or about $4.5 billion, beating estimates. Now, analysts have said that looming US tariffs led customers to keep stockpile memory chips and smartphones, boosting the company's sales, though AI chip demand remains soft and the foundry division seems to be struggling. Overall results held steady. Samsung shares jumped 2.6% following the earnings preview. The company is still adjusting after the sudden death of its CEO and will release full results on the 30th of April. Chinese electric vehicle giant Build Your Dreams, or BYD, expects its first quarter profit to jump between 86% and 119% year-on-year. The company, in fact, didn't give detailed earnings, but cited strong sales and steady production. BYD has been expanding rapidly, both domestically and, in fact, in Europe, positioning itself as the global EV leader. More details are expected in its full report later this month. Virat Kohli scripted history once again by becoming the fastest Indian batter to score 13,000 runs in T20. Virat achieved the feat during the IPL 2025 encounter between Royal Challengers Bengaluru and Mumbai Indians at the Wankhede Stadium. Virat, in fact, looked in good form during the match against MI, and he slammed a stunning six of Jasprit Bumrah to leave his fans as well as expert thrilled. He went on to slam a brilliant half-century in just 29 deliveries. Overall, Chris Gale was the fastest to reach the feat, while Viral did it in 386 innings. Kohli scored 67 of 42 balls as RCB reached a 221 for 5. In a somber turn for Australian cricketer, former Test batsman Will Pucovski has announced his retirement at just 27. Now, he confirmed to Send Radio that lingering concussion symptoms have in fact kept him off the field for over a year. Once hailed as a rising star after scoring a half-century on debut against India in 2021, Pucovski's career has repeatedly derailed by head injuries. World number 9 Andrei Rublev has roped in former Grand Slam winner Marat Safin as his new coach ahead of the clay court season. Now, Rublev has struggled with emotional outbursts in recent matches, and the Russian hopes Safin, who faced similar challenges during his career, can help him stay focused. The partnership begins with this week's Monte Carlo Masters. The sex abuse trial of former Dances with Wolves actor Nathan Chasing Horse has been postponed again. A Nevada judge pushed the trial start to the 4th of August, giving his lawyer more time to prepare. Now, Chasing Horse faces 21 felony charges, including sexual assault of minors, kidnapping, and even child pornography. He's accused of abusing indigenous women and girls for years while posing as a spiritual healer. Prosecutors, meanwhile, have said that he even filmed himself with underage victims. His case has seen repeated delays since his 2023 arrest and continues to draw national attention. That's all we have for you today. Take care and have... meanwhile, in the world of entertainment, in fact, it's a big year for the Jonas Brothers. They're marking 20 years as a band. Now, Nick Jonas has said that the celebration kicks off with their Living the Dream World Tour starting on the 10th of August at the MetLife Stadium. Now, that's over 60 shows planned across the US before they take the stage globally. But that's not all. A brand new album just drops in just 2 days before the tour on the 8th of August, to be precise. Now, Nick describes the year ahead as busy and exciting, both for the band and for the brothers individually. Listen in.
It's a very exciting year ahead. We're celebrating 20 years as a band by playing the Jonas 20 Living the Dream Tour, which we kick off at MetLife Stadium on August 10th. So it's, 60-something shows, I think, in the U.S., and then we have plans to go all around the world. And we announced a new album as well coming out August 8th. So it's a busy and exciting year for us as individuals, but also with the band.
3 genetically engineered wolves designed to resemble the extinct dire wolves are in fact now alive and well in a secure US location. This is according to Colossal Biosciences. The pups have long white hair, as you can see on your screens, powerful jaws, and already weigh around 80 pounds each. At full size, they could reach 140 pounds. But experts caution, while they may look like dire wolves, they aren't true revivals of the extinct species. Scientists use clustered, regularly interspaced, short palindromic repeats tech to edit grey wolf DNA at 20 points, creating a close virtual match based on ancient dire wolf fossils. It's a part of Colossal's broader efforts to recreate exact extinct species, including woolly mammoths and dodos. Still, scientists say it's unlikely that these pups will behave like real dire wolves, since behavior can't be engineered. Well, it's a wrap on this edition of the World Report. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Few of us ever look after our ears as much as we should, even when hearing loss can interfere with everything that makes us, us. Relationships, passions, independence. But you can keep living the life you love. All the laughing, dancing, and connecting. When you personalize your hearing care with Hidden Hearing, discover how it's possible to keep being you. Hidden Hearing. Your hearing is our expertise.
I urgently need to ask for your help on behalf of animals at risk right now. With the pandemic came a surge in pet ownership. And sadly, we're now seeing a serious rise in neglect, cruelty, and abuse. Our services are being stretched to the limit. To make matters worse, our costs are soaring too. But we refuse to let animals suffer. So please, act now to help rescue the growing number of animals who've never needed us more. Please call or text the number on screen now to give £2 a month to the RSPCA. In one of the toughest times we have ever experienced, your gift will make all the difference to animals. You could help provide more life-saving treatment, food, shelter, and the loving care that many have never known. We know there are millions of you who, like us, care deeply and won't stand by while animals are suffering. We have to reach those trapped in a life of abuse and neglect before it's too late. Because for many, the RSPCA is their only hope. But we can only come to the rescue with the support of people like you. So please,